Silenzio! Silenzio! 22 years ago, I stood where I stand now and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind. It would have consumed me, were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers who taught me to look past my instincts. They never preached answers, but guided me to learn from myself. We don't need anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, to show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me or anyone else.
Everyone has their own favorite assassin that they like from the Assassin's Creed games that have released over the years, but there's one assassin who stands out the most by fans of the Assassin's Creed games, and that assassin is Ezio Auditore Da Firenze. Most of the players who have played the original Assassin's Creed games know how charming and charismatic Ezio is, especially with the ladies. But that's not all there is to know about this assassin. Ezio's story is one filled with rage and a need for vengeance against what was done to his family. But throughout his life, Ezio learns to let go of his anger, his pride, and his ego. Ezio slowly begins to learn what it means to love, to help people, and to mentor a new generation for the future. Ezio starts off as a privileged nobleman in Firenze, but his world would be turned upside down when he witnesses the death of his family.
Giovanni Auditore! You and your accomplices stand accused of the crime of treason. Have you any evidence to counter this charge?
Yes, the documents that were delivered to you last night.
I'm afraid I know nothing of these documents.
He's lying!
Need to get closer.
In the absence of any compelling evidence to the contrary, I am bound to pronounce you guilty. You and your collaborators are hereby sentenced to death.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will! Father!
Hey! Grab the boy! He's one of them!
I'll kill you for what you've done!
Guards! Arrest him!
Ezio would go on to hunt the people responsible for his family's death for over 20 years. He would lose plenty of people, even the women he loved, but also during those 20 years, Ezio would meet many different allies who would teach him to let go of his anger and his need for vengeance in pursuit of freedom and justice for his fellow man. This would lead Ezio in learning to respect those that he has killed, form friendships, and help ordinary citizens all over Italy. When faced with the opportunity to kill the man responsible for his family's murder, Ezio decides to spare him because there has been enough killing, and he has risen above his hate.
You can't! You can't! It's my destiny! Mine! I am the prophet! You never were. Get it over with, then. No. Killing you won't bring my family back. I'm done. Nulla è reale. Tutto è lecito. Requiescat in pace.
Some of his allies did not agree with Ezio's decision to let him live, but even Ezio himself admits one death would not have made a difference. Of course, with Ezio showing mercy to his enemy, there would be repercussions, especially when the enemy came to his doorstep and took another member of his family and destroyed his home. Although Ezio has lost everything again this time, it was different and he wouldn't take vengeance as an answer this time. What Ezio has learned would now be put into action in Rome. Ezio now knew that vengeance would not be enough and that he would need the support of his friends and allies to defeat this new menace. Ezio recruited those who wanted to liberate Rome with justice in their hearts. Ezio now began to show a new generation what he had learned previously.
Ezio Auditore Da Firenze. You will now be known as Il Mentore, the guardian of our order and our secrets.
Where other men blindly follow the truth, remember, nothing is true. Where other men are limited by morality and law, remember, everything is permitted.
When Ezio went after Cesare Borgia, he was not filled with hate. He just wanted to neutralize the threat to Italy. Several years later, Ezio would travel to Masyaf, the home of the Assassin Order, to seek wisdom from Altair's library. Ezio was confronted by many Templars when he arrived there, but his focus was getting to Altair. Ezio eventually went to Constantinople to get the keys to access Altair's library underneath, and had no intention to help the Brotherhood there, but eventually he chose to help them with their fight against the Templars. While there, Ezio will learn to love again, and even wrote to his sister Claudia about Sophia Sartor.
I have left Constantinople and set sail for the interior of Anatolia, to a region called Cappadocia, where Manuel is training his soldiers. If I am lucky, I will not be alone, for there may be Ottoman spies in the area waiting to strike. But, as ever, I put stock only in myself, and hold the memory of dear Sophia close to my heart. Claudia, you would laugh to hear the racing thoughts of your brother now. I have come to admire Sophia with more affection than I thought possible. After the death of Christina, something withered in me. But that feeling, that capacity for love, has returned. I adore Sophia, but dare not drag her into this life of mine. Not without fear of hurting her, or driving her away.
Once again, Ezio would mentor young initiates into the Brotherhood and help develop some of them into Master Assassins. When Ezio would get his hands on the Masyaf keys, he would relive Altair's memories and find wisdom in his tragic story. Eventually, Ezio was able to get all the Masyaf keys and enter Altair's library, only to find Altair himself with one last Masyaf key. When Ezio discovers that Altair has hidden his Apple of Eden, there he is almost tempted to touch it but holds himself off. Ezio then realized that he himself is being watched by Desmond Miles right now, and even gets to see his descendant and talk to him and gives him a heartfelt speech about not knowing his purpose in life until now.
Desmond?
He's talking to me?
I heard your name once before, Desmond. A long time ago. And now it lingers in my mind, like an image from an old dream. I do not know where you are, or by what means you can hear me. But I know you are listening. I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
Many years later, we get to see Ezio in his final days living out his life in his own villa with Sophia and his family. Ezio is once again dragged back into the Assassin Templar War when a stranger shows up at his villa and is speaking with his daughter. The stranger introduces herself as Xiao Jun of the Chinese Brotherhood and tells Ezio that she had traveled a long way to see him. Ezio is very hesitant to be dragged back into this and wants nothing to do with her. Xiao Jun had snuck in earlier to his office and recited Ezio's word back to him in a letter that he had recently written.
My name is Ezio Auditore. When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. It would be 30 long years before I understood the meaning of all three.
Ezio then decides to teach Xiaojun the meaning of being an assassin and even trains her so that she can go back to China to rebuild her brotherhood. Once Xiaojun goes back to China, Ezio gives her a precursor box and tells her not to open it unless she feels that she is lost. Even at his old age, Ezio is still learning to be wise and patient despite his many years of experience. Ezio once again learns to open up and learns to trust one final student. Later, Ezio goes back to his hometown of Firenze and gets into an argument with a young man which reminds him of him when he was younger. Ezio eventually dies of his heart condition while watching his wife Sofia and his daughter Flavia in the marketplace. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. My name is Kessler, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos, live stream shorts, and other content on this channel.
When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. Many decades would pass before I understood the meaning of all three. And now, in the twilight of my life, this understanding has passed into contentment. Love, liberty, and time, once so disposable, are the fuels that drive me forward. And love, most especially, mio caro. For you, our children, our brothers and sisters, and for the vast and wonderful world that gave us life and keeps us guessing. Endless affection, mia Sofia. Forever yours, Ezio Auditore.